So NASCAR had a pretty good weekend at Talladega. There's some news out of Andretti World, both for IndyCar, not so good, and for Formula One, which is more so good. Uh, Another black guy for the Las Vegas Grand Prix. And we're going to talk about a late entry into the iRacing special event coming up this weekend. Actually, if you stick around long enough to watch this show, you can go watch this immediately after we're done. This is F1 Racing's Garage Talk. I'm DJ Flook.
I'm Eric Richardson.
Eric is actually double timing today. He is kicked that off. Not we, but Eric and Hunter and Mark and Ian Miller made the decision, what, 2 days ago, day and a half ago?
Yeah, I've been in talks a little bit, but I think we solidified a time slot and we're scheduled out. So we're going to be good to go.
The Petit Le Mans at Road Atlanta, Michelin Raceway at Road Atlanta, to be exact. Yeah, this is the first endurance event since Daytona.
Yeah, we talked about this one last year, but it didn't quite line up. And just trying to coordinate a schedule is really the hardest part. Everybody's so busy, and a lot of these races have either just a single time frame or just run at busy times of the year.
And then on top of that, with it being 10 hours, and you got to make sure you got to fill the drive time for the 10 hours. If I remember going back to Daytona, you guys did what, 3-hour stints each time?
Yeah, we did 2 3-hour stints between the four of us.
Yeah, and that was pretty brutal.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, 3 hours in the car on your kitchen table chair. How was your back after that event? I can't imagine good.
First stint I was fine, but the second one, it was pretty lit up. But I had also been on a charter bus for
That's
2.5
right.
hours prior.
That's right. You did your
and
first
on my
stint
feet for a meet and got home. Less than an hour later, I'm sitting back down in a car.
You did your first stint. You went and coached a swim meet. Then you got back on the bus, came home, and did another 3 hours in the car.
Well, I actually did both of them after I got back from the meet.
Oh, that's right. Oh my
God. I got back and it was just straight away into the seat, then finished up, got a few hours of sleep, and then I was back up and at it in the overnight run.
So I'll let you announce what will you be running for this event?
We're gonna be in the LMP2 category.
Is it 2 or 3?
2.
Is it 2?
They're the Dallara P217.
All right. So that'll be, yeah, of course it is. Why am I thinking 3? They're phasing the LMP2 out though after this year. Is that, or am I thinking of something else?
I haven't fully paid attention to it. They've really expanded the GTP class.
Mm-hmm.
They started with the Cadillac in the last release, but now they have the Acura, the Porsche, and I'm forgetting the fourth one.
BMW.
Yes, BMW. Thank you.
Yes. So, so this will be the first time in an LMP2 class car. It's what's your initial thoughts? Actually, you know what? You're actually training as we're talking here. Let's see what's going on. I'm gonna go right to the track for some training here.
So let me.
And programming note: if you're sticking around, be sure to tune in to Stadium Scene TV.
We're actually just going to take it out of the pits here. A little warm-up lap.
There it goes. Okay, so it's a little bit laggy, but whatever. We get the point.
Yeah, just kind of a brief run through here at slower speeds.
We did this during our GT3 season.
Yeah, this is actually a really fun track.
It really is.
Tough as you first learn it because you have some blind turns in here. But as you get to know the track, it's a lot of fun.
Actually, while I was prepping the broadcast, I went into a random GT4, which was at Road Atlanta, just to line all my graphics up and test everything out. And holy crap, was that a toxic event? Or it was like a 15-minute sprint. It was actually pretty quiet until about the last 5 minutes. And then it just turned into like these guys cussing each other out. And it's actually this point right here. One guy made kind of a dumb move and didn't give enough room. And he actually for the Fox Bridge and down by the Michelin building there, and there's your lap. So he guy made a dumb move and wrecked a car, and the guy decided that who got wrecked decided he was going to retaliate. And you get to that chicane kind of towards the end there before you go uphill to the bridge, and he just veered straight across the grass and just plowed right in to with his trash. His car was already trashed, and he just plowed right into the guy who took him out. And it just turned into these guys dropping F-bombs at each other. It's like, man, like you guys
sounds
like,
about right.
you're like, just like, this is just, come on, like, give me a break. Like, it was a bad decision that turned into a retaliation, and just awful. That's why I don't like open lobbies in iRacing, because it's just so toxic. It was funny too. It was in the morning, so it was actually a lot of Europeans, and it was all these European guys speaking English to each other, and many of them you could tell were pretty fluent in English, but it was just funny hearing like Italian guys saying F you to each other.
Now, I definitely don't fancy myself as a road racer, much more that open wheel oval. So we'll see how this goes. Mark, Hunter, and Ian are all pretty solid road racers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I got to pick up the slack. And
About to say you don't want to be the weak link this weekend, but I mean, Mark, Hunter, and Ian are all very, very good at road racing. So
I think what I'm finding though, I'm actually within about 2.5, 3 seconds of pace right now. And each day I find a way to get a little bit quicker. The big part will just be trying to keep it clean and watch out for GT3 cars.
Yeah. Hunter, I recall during his AI simulations that he was running, he just said dodging the GT3 cars was the hardest part of it. And we know iRacing's AI cars are not the greatest. That's going to be an interesting challenge, because you have not done an event like this where you're the faster car. Yeah, this is where it was, where this guy, he just veered right across the grass instead of taking that turn, just plowed right in as the guy's going up the hill.
Yeah, you gotta watch out for that hill. If you don't have everything timed just right, you can definitely lose that back end over it.
I always felt like hold your breath as you're coming up over the hill and coming down, as you're kind of, not sliding, but you want to use all the track coming over the hill and down. Ooh, you got an off track.
Yeah, it's gonna be the one spot where usually just sail right through there. That turn though, I'm probably gonna get a few 1X's, just clipping that edge just enough.
So we'll be running a full 10-hour broadcast. Hopefully you guys survive the full 10 hours. It starts at Friday night at 6:30 Eastern. We'll have the stream running live until 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. Fortunately, still on Pacific time, so that's only 1:30 for me, so it's a little more tolerable. But who do you know who's got the closing stint?
It's gonna be Mark.
Mark. Oh, that's right. Yeah, because Mark is the guy who wakes up at like 2 a.m. on Saturday morning to drive in these kind of events. Don't know why, but I guess that's the only time he can get. He's got a young kid in the house. But I'll be running the broadcast. I'll kick it off. I'll disappear for a little while, and then I'll pop in later in the evening and take us home. And Taka should be joining me. He hasn't decided how much of the 10 hours he's committing. I told him I'm not committing to a full 10 hours. So I don't expect him to either. And I think that's completely unreasonable to do a 10-hour. But
Yeah, I'll have
you
to get some sleep at some point, so I probably won't actually see the finish of it, but I'll try to jump in there at the beginning.
Much like the Daytona event, it's not going to really be commentary per se, but I'll be here. I'll be throwing in some 2 cents here and there. The drivers, as they're hopping in and waiting for their turn, or maybe they're done, we'll bring them in and get a little quick post stint interview if I'm around at the end, and see how things are going, and hopefully get a good finish this weekend.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see how it shakes out and what this split looks like.
All right. So stay tuned. 6:30 p.m. Eastern, Friday night. You're watching Garage Talk on earlier than usual time. So head on over to the Stadium Scene channel, either on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch. So
Yeah,
check
come
that
cheer
out.
us on and give me some pointers. I need them.
So you'll hear from me. Yeah, and we'll have the you guys will be running your own live streams as you do your stints, and should be a lot of fun. So good way to spend a Friday night going into a Saturday morning. Not a 24-hour race, but still 10 hours is a pretty big commitment. Team of 4.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
2 hours and what?
Yeah,
30
I think we're
minutes
looking
each.
about 2.5 hours. I need to double check our spreadsheet again, see what our breakdown is.
So I'm gonna give a shout out to our friends at Extreme Sim Racing. You see the graphic below. Their monitor stands, which had been back ordered for months, came in stock, and it's the moment I got the email that it was back in stock, I went and I bought 2 of them. So still got to fix some of the wiring, but it's nice to actually have some hopefully you don't kind of see, but look, you can see it's way cleaner back there. It actually sits above the monitor now. So thank you to our friends at Extreme Sim Racing. Got some great stuff, really good quality. I mean, those the only issue, which it's I think it would have worked fine, but the washer that came with the monitor bolt, I have smaller monitors, and the washer uses the smaller bolt, or the smaller bolt, and the washer was kind of right there on the edge of if it was large enough to sit on top of the the frame or the monitor mounts. So I just went out to Home Depot last weekend and spent like $140 and bought some big 1-inch washers, and that way I know it's nice and stable and secure and they're not going anywhere. So it was like $142 for 8 washers.
That's not too bad.
No, not at all. It's just like I said, I think it would have been fine. I just wanted to make sure, $142 to know that I'm not gonna have a monitor fall down on me.
Be great if it was on a live stream though.
Yeah. Although,
It'd make for a viral moment.
I mean, we had the live stream of, iRacing locking up on me and me dropping profanity. Actually, you can't really tell, but if you notice, there's actually a large TV behind me. I didn't tell you about. Did I tell you about that?
I don't think so.
That's our living room TV.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So last Friday night we got home, and we have this coffee table that kind of lifts up and turns into an actual table, so you can actually sit at our sit around the we have a sectional sofa, sit around the sofa, eat pizza, we watch a movie or something. I usually get yelled at because I'll grab the remote and I'll put like the NASCAR truck race on and then get yelled at for putting. I don't want to watch this. I want to watch Paw Patrol. No, we're watching the truck race, kids. Get your own TV. Well, turn the TV on. Bunch of horizontal lines down it. I'm like, no.
Time for a new TV.
Yeah, so I bought a new TV over the weekend, and me being the engineer I am, started looking into like what would it take to fix this thing. And I started digging in, doing some homework, and I found out that this particular brand of TV, which will go nameless, it rhymes with Zizio. There's a board apparently on here that fails quite often after about 4 years. This TV is about 4 years old. And this board, you can go to a TV repair shop online and buy the board for $26. So
Get the replacement part.
yeah. So I got the back off here. I started to take got the board apart. I mean, the board is literally like this big, and it's like $26. They said sometimes dust will get in there and short it out, and that's really and yeah. So a $26 board filled my 55-inch TV here, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna save this TV, and
Get it fixed, mount that, be your driving screen.
no, it's 60. It's a 60 hertz screen. It's not good enough. But however, my bedroom TV is only a 32-inch, so I get this thing working now. I got a 55-inch TV in my bedroom.
Yes.
So that's why I have a 55-inch TV leaning up against my couch behind me, and I've got a bunch of boxes and stuff. So it's anyway. Andretti, big week for Andretti
On multiple fronts.
both good and bad.
Yes.
So which one do you want to go first, the good or the bad?
Oh, I always like starting with the bad.
Let's start with the bad. So
Romain Grosjean going to
Romain
arbitration.
Grosjean. Yeah. He issued a statement that said, I thought I was going to be back, and they told me no. And I've hired a lawyer, and I am taking them to arbitration. So not sure as of the time we're talking. I don't know what his end goal is, if he's trying to force himself back onto the Andretti team.
It's what it kind of looked like.
Maybe. I feel like he is, because like where else would he go? I mean, there's room at Dale Coyne, it seems like.
I almost wonder if there was something that was in an agreement in a contract that Andretti was trying to avoid out, or if there's a separation clause or something.
It's got to be
that he went, hold on, that's not allowable in my contract.
Because how many times have we seen a driver run out of a team, whether it's IndyCar, NASCAR, and we've said, we're taking this to arbitration. I've never heard that. You
hear it in baseball.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's baseball, and arbitration happens every year. But in auto racing, you never hear about a driver getting cut loose. Although Andretti never formally said they were cutting him loose. It was kind of like, yeah, he's not coming back. Just
kind of been a given.
Yeah.
Unless I missed some sort of formal announcement that they wanted to part ways.
No, I don't think there was. I looked for it. I didn't see anything. It just seems, it's just a really weird situation. So who knows where that's going to go.
Look at performance. There were a lot of wrecked cars.
There are a lot of wrecked cars, but there are also a few podiums mixed in there too.
There's a couple early on, but then
second at Barber, and I think second at St. Petersburg in the opening.
No, it was Long Beach, wasn't it? St. Pete, him and
yeah, that was that tire incident. Yeah, the tire wall
coming out of pit road and trying to get in there.
So yeah, he had two second place finishes this year. I think he wrecked at every oval he was at.
Pretty much. Well, except for Iowa, like nobody wrecked there. It seemed like, except for Stingray Rob losing his tire.
Yeah. Stingray Rob lost his tire, but didn't Newgarden wreck on the second day?
Oh, maybe.
Because he was going for his like clean sweep, and he missed it on that last day, and I think he lost it.
Wait, I thought he won that race.
He won the first one, but I don't think he won the second one.
It's been long enough ago now. All month and a half.
Yeah, all month and a half. We're already forgetting how the season went. I don't know. Let's look it up. What? It's nice now, like 10 years, 15 years ago, it's like, we got to go pull up the computer and look. All right, schedule. Let's go back to last year. Oh, they already moved on to the 2024 schedule in the app. IndyCar results.
Yeah, at some point we got to break down that 24 schedule.
NASCAR's 24 schedule. Oof. That's a doozy.
Uh-huh.
Well, wasn't planning on talking about that. I haven't had a chance to digest that today, but Hunter
I
Hughes
skimmed it. I need to look at it again.
Hunter Hughes posted in his Instagram story. His initial observation was the same as my initial look through. Atlanta is your first playoff race, and Watkins Glen is in the playoffs. And it's they've got this goofy schedule next year because
the Olympics
and it interrupts the end. All right, you're right. Newgarden did win. Oh, Newgarden wrecked at Iowa, or not Iowa, at Gateway. Yeah, that's what it was. What am I? Yeah, he wrecked it. Ed Carpenter had that big incident on day 2 of Iowa on the start. That was the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, driving through Ben Peterson.
He didn't make a lot of friends this year.
No, he did not.
But it sounds like he's going to be back next year, as far as I can tell.
Okay.
Whatever.
Yeah, maybe here in a month and a half or so, get through the NASCAR and Formula One seasons, and then we can start breaking down the schedules as we prepare for 24.
So I real quick, I made a $5 prop bet for this weekend. My $5 parlay prop bet that will pay me $60 if it hits. I figured for $5, half of this is pretty much a guarantee. The first half of the prop bet is that Max Verstappen wins this weekend. Probably.
You're 75% chance
right
there.
Yeah. So it's like I'm feeling good about the first part. The second one, Kyle Larson wins at the Roval.
Can he not wreck in the last 5 laps?
It's like if he cannot wreck in the last 5 laps, he will be there towards the end. But whether he finishes in one piece or in the front of the field is the big question. But it was like plus 1,200 on that. I'm like, throwing $5 into that. $5 turns into 60.
Decent chance.
That was a bet I was willing to take. The prop bets in Formula One are hilarious because it's like they already assume Max is going to win.
Who's going to finish second?
Yeah. So like some of the prop bets I've seen this year have been like Max wins, has the fastest lap, gets the pole position, and leads like 75% of the laps. It would be like a prop bet for a race. And it's like,
yes,
I think I'm gonna take that. Outside of Singapore, I'm gonna take that bet. That's pretty safe, as wild as that is. But yeah,
crazy.
Qatar this weekend. Is that where it is? Yeah. So we're getting close to Coda here in a few weeks.
And then we're not too far off of the debacle that is Las Vegas.
Yeah, and we mentioned that. So it was, I don't know if it was formally announced, but one of my top go-to kind of on the ground people in Vegas said that the Formula One committee was offering $200 grandstand tickets, single day grandstand tickets for the race if you're a Nevada resident. And it's like, I don't know anybody who lives in Nevada anymore.
They are going to be giving tickets away by the time this race hits.
Yeah. But you're saying, okay, that's more than the 3-day passes, but those 3-day $500 passes were standing room. This is actually a seat. The fact that they're getting down to $200 for a race day grandstand seat, I mean, that tells you something right there.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of empty seats unless the locals fill it.
Because they got free tickets.
And the locals are so upset by all the construction and all the money that's being spent on this, and then ripping the trees down in front of the Bellagio, and
And the fact that you may not have the fountain until what, February or
something
something?
like that. Yeah. And then here's the other thing that happened today is that Clark County passed I think it was Clark. I would have to be Clark County. Clark County passed a resolution that vendors could no longer sell on the streets of the Las Vegas Strip. It's like, that's some very interesting timing for that to happen, considering that's happened for, how many decades?
Oh,
That was let's get everybody off the street for the race weekend. We're bringing in a lot of very rich, wealthy people. We don't want street vendors near the Saudi Aramco executives. But yeah, it's like, come on, guys.
that's
Like,
all you do right here. It's the head slapper.
it's like, come on, guys. We know what you're doing. Like, yeah, I may be stupid, but I'm not that stupid. I know what you're doing.
Oh,
Yeah,
right now I
all
just want
times.
this race to go and just to see how it
But
runs.
but we've got 3 years of this potentially.
I called one and done.
Yeah, I think I don't know if they have ever released the option, or if it was an option, or if it's like 3 years locked in. I can't imagine. I mean, unless it's a complete total disaster.
Yeah, it's on the way.
Somebody's getting a lot of money here. You have to assume Liberty Media is going to get their cut of the day. A couple other things on Formula One. The worldwide streaming rights for the Formula One contract coming up, and a reported bidder will be Apple. So you got to go and subscribe to. It's not like for Major League Soccer, which is currently on Apple. It's like you can still get your local. Well, can you? The local teams are still on the regional channels, aren't they? I would assume. So that would be a really terrible
don't
move.
even watch soccer, so
yeah, I mean that'd be a really terrible move if you just moved everybody to Apple. It's like, what's it like 50-60% of the smartphone business is iPhone. But I mean, it seems like you're really limiting your audience. But then again, Apple is what, first or second wealthiest company in the world?
Yeah, I think maybe second to Disney.
I thought it was Amazon.
Oh, maybe Disney's kind of taken a plummet here recently.
Yeah. Well,
They're
and
still
a lot of it is
there.
So the thing is, like, there's all this thing with Disney, and they're talking about like, we're there are people in this, in the country, in the US, like protesting Disney, and you've got the very the high profile spat in Florida with the governor of Florida and Disney, and that kind of quietly, if you haven't noticed, that quietly went away.
Yes.
But and they're like, oh, look, we're successfully protesting Disney. It's like, no, you're not. Disney took 2 beatings. One was the writer and actor strike, which the writer strike is now over. Awesome. The second part of it is that Disney Plus apparently had the contract for the National Cricket League in India. And that contract expired, and the National Cricket, whatever they call it, the National Cricket League went to somebody else. So everybody turned around and just canceled their Disney Plus subscriptions in India. So they had this huge drop in subscribers at the same time that there's this group of people over here protesting Disney and Disney's, their beliefs and morals or whatever. And they're like, we were doing it. Like, no, you didn't.
The other side of the country has something going on.
Yeah, too. It's like you got to look a little deeper than that. The dent you made is probably about that much. The dent that the cricket, like, if you haven't been to India or you don't understand, like, cricket is like to India what the NFL is to the US. Like everybody lives and breathes cricket in India. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I haven't tried to understand it. I have no reason to try to understand it because nobody plays cricket in the United States except for people that have moved here from India. And I don't get it. I don't. I really don't. I mean, I'm sure it's a fine sport. It's obviously a very popular sport, but India is a very, very large country. And when your national sport, it would be like, DirecTV lost the NFL Sunday ticket contract to YouTube. Can you imagine how many DirecTV subscriptions were canceled after that happened? Probably a lot.
Yeah, it'd be big.
It's all about the money.
Yep.
We never did talk about the good part with Andretti. Their bid to join yeah,
accepted.
And so they just have to negotiate with Liberty Media, and it sounds like that's just a formality, and they may have already pre-negotiated that up front because they don't think the two organizations, they talk to each other. They're not going to approve one without some input and buy-in from the other. So I think it's just a matter of time, and we're going to see the 11th team in Formula One starting in 2026.
Now, the biggest hiccup is the whole other teams not wanting to dilute.
I don't think that's going to be a problem. I
feel like they're going to ultimately end up saying yes here.
Yeah,
they may not be happy about it, but they will.
Yeah. So other random news, Williams pretty much said that they're standing behind Logan Sargent. And I have to say, James Foles going out there and put his money where his mouth is and said, we stand behind him. You can't compare his performances to Alex because his car is not the same as Alex. And he's got his metrics. We're here to support him. We haven't done a great job of supporting him at times, but we want him to be successful. I don't know about you, but that was so refreshing to hear because you don't hear that in the sports world where, the boss comes out and puts his neck on the line for, one of his driver or one of his players. Like it's, you see like teams move on from their quarterback. They cut pitchers. They trade these guys. They give up on them after a year or two. And it's just like, it's so refreshing to see somebody say, look, this is a mutual relationship here. It's like, yeah, he's not had great moments on the track. He hasn't scored any points this year. But at the same time, we haven't done our part to help him either.
Yeah, I think they're taking some of the acknowledgement in that. But I think kind of what's unstated also is they're going to give him a chance and probably do a lot of testing and development in the off season. But I wouldn't be surprised if
he's got a short
doesn't
leash.
go well. He's
got a short leash
to maybe half the races at most, maybe even a quarter of the way through the season. That if something doesn't change, then we are going to be making a switch. Because at the end of the day, you're an organization. You can't be pumping $3 million when you're already at a cost cap to fix cars. That's just going to further hinder.
And
you have sponsors to please.
Speaking of that, I don't know. I read this. I don't know if this is actually true or not, but apparently Williams was penalized, citing that they had a third car. I don't know if this is true or not. I just I read this. I didn't have a chance to back it up, but they basically accused them of fixing the car too quickly after he trashed it during Q1. They got it fixed and working again. And people are like, no. They got really good at rebuilding their cars. So they had Nicholas Latifi for 3 years before that. If Williams is the best at one thing, it's rebuilding cars in a hurry.
Yes. Yeah, if they're like Red Bull, they have 3 front wings and probably 3 or 4 of everything.
All right, so coming up this weekend, let's make some predictions. Blaney, Ryan, we didn't really talk about Talladega, but Blaney wins by 12, 1,000ths of a second, beating Kevin Harvick in his final year, who then got disqualified.
So is that close finish still count?
No,
Too bad.
I mean we saw it happen, but that's
What was it? Windshield fasteners?
yeah, they weren't tightened
Two
down or
loops?
something like that.
Come on.
How weird is that?
Hey, come on, NASCAR. I get it's what maybe a safety thing if it had blown off, but
So here's the thing. Byron, Blaney, they moved on to the round of 8 already with their wins. Denny Hamlin is plus 50 up. I mean, I don't think he has to go very far. A couple of stage points, and I think he's locked in.
he
Christopher
had a good
Bell,
run, fought back for
he did.
what, second now, right?
Man, he was going to town on social media on Monday morning, and people are like making fun of him and ripping him and saying he caused a wreck and he didn't. And he's like, he replied to somebody who said he caused a wreck. He says, your eye appointment is at 9 a.m. Please press 1 to confirm. Like, he has taken this villain role in NASCAR and has just not run, like sprinted with it.
It's actually kind of funny. I
It
don't
just
know if I can say I'm a Hamlin fan anymore, but it's hilarious. I like it.
I mean, it's
NASCAR
just,
needed it.
especially with Kyle Busch kind of, he sold his team. He's kind of mellowed out. He's like the old vet now.
I don't have time for this.
Let's see. I just pulled up his X feed. It says, "Me, don't speed on pit road." He's got the Kevin James meme that's going around right now, the King of Queens photo, and he photoshopped his head on it. Somebody tweeted, "Denny's gonna cry." Oh, it says penalty, Denny Hamlin too fast entering pit road. And somebody replied back, and they had a picture of a Broncos. Their handle is a Denver Broncos, and he wrote, "He gonna cry." Denny reposted this and said, "Number 1 Broncos fan, it's okay to cry. We can cry together. Hashtag 7020. Let's see. I don't like the decisions. This is Nick Lebrecht, some guy, random guy on social media. I don't like the decisions that Denny Hamlin has been making so far today at Talladega. Seems like he's not his usual self at super speedway. Hesitates, doesn't lead much, hoping this will finish better than it started. Denny responds, I didn't like them either. Connie Bradley wrote, karma. That POS at Denny Hamlin caused chaos for everyone and still didn't get the lucky dog. Now, if only his car would break and he'd get a DNF today and next week. Denny replies, oh, Connie, maybe next week. Hilarious. At Denny, this is Owen. Hilarious. At Denny Hamlin pulled in front of everyone and still didn't get his lap back, but accomplished to ruin other drivers for stage points. And puts a gif of Will Ferrell saying, what an idiot. And Denny wrote, you just called yourself a name. Don't trust Denny Hamlin not to play games. Oh, it's Connie again. Don't trust Denny Hamlin not to play games to manipulate this race. We know he would be the first one complaining if others were doing the same. Denny says, you have trust issues.
There's some truth that he would complain if it was somebody else.
So someone posted, Joe Gibbs posted, from a lap down to P4, Denny Hamlin and the Mavis team had quite a day. Tyler Young says, so Denny not knowing how to pronounce his sponsor's name on live TV. Denny said, this is nothing. I once thanked the guys in the ugly brown truck. Oh, by the way, this is all just in one morning. Like, oh, man. Denny Hamlin, man. Good for him. He's having some fun.
Yeah, it's fun to see he's engaging people too. Just
yeah. It's the
funny
thing is like,
comments.
the thing is like, people feel that I'm just going to talk smack on a celebrity, athlete, whatever, on social media because they're never going to respond. And then you get the reply that the celebrity responded to you and called you out for your smack talk, and you're not going to respond. Because if you do further respond, all their fans are going to come after you, and just it's not going to be pretty. So Denny plus 50, Christopher Bell plus 22 in fourth, Chris Buescher plus 19, Martin Truex plus 17, Kyle Larson plus 15, and then Brad Keselowski plus 2. Outside, currently Tyler Reddick minus 2, Bubba Wallace minus 9, Ross Chastain minus 10, who had a bad weekend. Got wrecked out on the last lap of the first stage, I think. And then Kyle Busch minus 26 going into the Roval. So not looking good for Kyle. Ross doesn't have a wall that he can cling on to.
No, again, Brad kind of pushed too hard and caused a big wreck.
He did.
Not the first time. Denny, if you catch this, I may not agree with some things, but it'd be awesome to have you on the show.
Don't worry,
talk about your year.
We're not gonna like, we want to have fun. Like, we don't want to talk smack or be jerks or anything or gotcha. No, we just want to, just shoot it with you. Just have some fun. Come on, end of the season, open invitation to come on and hang out with us.
Yeah, share thoughts on the season, and it's been fun watching.
Looking at the owners' points, Hendrick is currently sitting first. Joe Gibbs. Oh, Hendrick and William Byron. I don't understand the owner point thing. So Hendrick with the William Byron car is the leader. The Joe Gibbs with Denny Hamlin's 11 is 28 points back. Christopher Bell is third with 56 points back, tied with Chase Elliott, 56 points back. I don't understand how that works.
I guess it's the car. So like, even when Josh Berry was running the 9, he was still scoring owner points.
But how is Chase in fourth place compared to somebody like Martin Truex Jr., who is currently sitting 7th?
I have no idea.
Owners points, whatever.
They can do their thing. It's not quite like the Formula One.
Yeah, it's not. But on the manufacturers, Chevy's got a decent lead on Toyota, and Ford is in a little bit further back in third right now. Okay.
Ford's kind of fallen off at certain tracks. Toyota's just been consistent. Ford
had a really good 6-week period where you had Chris Buescher win 2 in a row. McDowell had that win in Indianapolis. But before and after that, it's been kind of
Toyota's been solid. Chevy has struggled on the super speedways, but been very good elsewhere.
I mean, Byron had he came away second after the disqualification, but he was right there. He's had a really good year.
Mm-hmm. It has been good for him.
Blaney's had a good year.
2 wins now for Blaney.
I honestly would be, at this point, I'd be surprised if Byron wasn't in the final, the 4, and probably Blaney as well. It seems like
it's crazy to me. If even though you're in, you have a bad stretch of races, you're out.
Yeah, and you've got Homestead, you've got Martinsville. What's the third one in that schedule? Man, my brain's
Vegas.
Vegas. Yeah, that's right.
Vegas early season was kind of bland.
That was kind of a bland race.
Martinsville was kind of a lot of single file. Homestead could get interesting.
Yes, it could.
It's a good track.
I kind of wonder about the future of that track. Yeah, it used to be the finale. It was for like 20 years. It was the last race of the season.
Yeah, it took over for Atlanta.
Yes.
Atlanta
Yeah,
used to be the season finale, then it went to Homestead, and
now
now
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
And it just jacked up the price of a Phoenix ticket in the fall. It's all right. It's
I'd
kind
like
of
to see it
fun.
change.
I mean, last year I went to the ARCA, I guess it would have been the ARCA West finale. This shall be at the Xfinity championship race. Man, looking back on that a year ago, this is the first time I've ever said this, but man, poor Ty Gibbs. He wins, he has that terrible Martinsville where he wrecked his teammate to win, goes on, wins the championship, everyone booing him, and then he clinches the title, and then his dad dies in his sleep overnight. Like, just God, how, like, that is like the worst week possible for anyone. It's like you won a race, you won a championship, people hate you, and then your dad dies. Like, and he was obviously very close to his dad. I mean, it was just a terrible, terrible situation. But it's like,
Unfortunate.
yeah, it's just really, really bad. So I think we better go ahead and wrap. We got the Petit Le Mans, Petit Le Mans. I want to keep calling it the La Petite Le Mans for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh, it's one of those at Road Atlanta.
Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, if you want to be proper. So good luck to you and the team.
Yeah, it should be fun. It'd be fun to see how it goes.
We'll see. Knock on wood, we made it through the entire 24-hour stream for Daytona. Let's see if we can make it through a 10-hour at Road Atlanta.
Let's hope none of us get punted and I don't have a Dukes of Hazzard moment.
You don't have a Dukes of Hazzard moment. You don't have a GT3 car ruining your day. It is kind of funny, like the perspective change where you're on the GT3 side, and then you go and you sit on the other side, and you're in the the LMP2 or the hypercar or something, and it's like, oh, these slow GT3s, go away.
And when we did Daytona, we didn't have any of the
that was
LMPs
weird
in there.
That was weird. How do you have an all GT3 stint like that? That was
we were
weird.
The very last split. That's how.
I mean, it's with Mark and Ian. Something tells me you aren't getting the last split again.
No, my iRating for road will hurt a little bit.
Let's look and see just before we wrap here. Let's see. Mark. He's a 1390 B class in road. Hunter is 1683 A class in road. Ian he's a 1635 A class in road. Should I read your iRating off, or you want me to skip that?
Oh yeah, no, you go for it. It's not good.
You're a 1073 C class.
Yes.
So yeah, best of luck.
It's not that I can't drive the cars, because my safety rating is pretty high. I'm just learning road and trying to get faster.
It's a different environment, that's for sure. And I hate it. I hate it.
I hate it. Pedal on the left side. I don't get it.
I mean, it's
the one on the right.
The only thing that pedal is for is slowing down for cautions and slowing down to enter pit road, and maybe the occasional tap 10 or a turn.
Or drag it a little bit at Talladega.
Yes, just a little bit of a drag. FRRacingOnline.com, at FRRacingOnline. Head over to at Stadium Scene on whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch for the 10-hour coverage. You'll hear my voice again. I know you love hearing it, but you'll hear me again over the 10 hours. Eric will pop in. Hunter, Mark, Ian, Taco will be joining us. That'd be a good time. Good way to spend a Friday night and giving me reason to go to bed at 2 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, come in, chat. Feel free to give me grief. It'll be fun.
That'll be fun. We'll enjoy ourselves. So thanks for watching, and we'll see. We'll break it down. We'll break down the schedules next week for both IndyCar and NASCAR, and we'll talk about how the event went. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.